All right, here we go. Identities. So identities are equations that are always true that we can derive using what we already know. So this part we've gone through plenty of times before. Sine corresponds to y, and cosine corresponds to x. So y is the opposite side, x is the adjacent side, tangent, opposite over adjacent, y over x. And then these three are the reciprocals of the first three. So this is y, cosecant is 1 over y, cosine is x, secant is 1 over x, and tangent flips to give us x over y. So your first two identities are quotient identities. They come from division. So we know that tangent is y over x, but now what are x and y equal to? Y equals the sine, x equals the cosine.
Oh.
So we substitute. Y is equal to the sine of the angle, and x is equal to the cosine of the angle.
There's opposite here. Oh, okay.
So that's your first identity. Tangent is sine divided by cosine. And then the reciprocal for cotangent. Cotangent is x over y.
Do you use the other ones, or do we just use cosine and sine?
For these two, it's just sine and cosine.
Okay.
So cotangent, x is the same as cosine. Y is the same as sine.
Oh, so it's just division.
So this is nice if you have an angle that's not a perfect multiple of pi. Because as long as you know what the sine and the cosine are, we don't even need to know what x is. We don't know what the angle is.
Could we just find tangent and cotangent?
But we can just use these equations to find tangent and cotangent. So tangent is equal to, from our identity, sine over cosine. Is equal to, sine is 0.6. Cosine is given as negative 0.8. And if you divide those, you get
negative 0.75.
negative 0.75. So the tangent of this angle x, whatever it may be, is negative 0.75.
Do we have to find that as well, or no?
So that's tangent, that's the first thing it asked us for.
Oh.
It's also asking for cotangent, which is cosine over sine. So cotangent of x is equal to cosine over sine. We're given that cosine is negative 0.8, and we're given that sine is positive 0.6. If you divide those, it is
Negative 1.33.
negative 1.33. So Justin, what would you do for question B?
You do tan of y equals sine of y over cosine of y equals 0.923 over 0.385.
0.923 over negative 0.385.
And we'll get negative 2.3.
Michael Vega Garcia, please report to the office. Michael Vega Garcia.
7.
Is this the same one?
And cotangent.
317. I got a 3. Well, doesn't matter, I guess.
Noah, what would that be?
Oh,
I'm doing that right now.
0.35, yeah, that's.
Negative 0.417.
So we did negative 0.385 divided by 0.923 and got negative 0.417.
I got the first one, 2.29,
Close enough.
I guess.
So that's box 1. Quotient identities. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine.
Isn't this?
Box 2 are reciprocal identities, which you pretty well already know about. It's just putting it down in writing.
Oh, okay.
We know that sine is y, and cosecant is the opposite of that, 1 over y, yes?
Yes.
So these two are reciprocals of each other. One is y over 1, the other is 1 over y. So we can say that cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and sine is the reciprocal of cosecant.
Whoa.
You okay with that?
Yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we should be good.
Same thing for secant and cosine. They're a pair. Cosine is x, secant is 1 over x. So they're reciprocals of each other. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. Cosine is the reciprocal of secant. And the last pair, cotangent, is x over y. Tangent is y over x. Again,
So wouldn't it be?
reciprocals, flip-flopped. So cotangent is 1 over tangent. Tangent is the reciprocal of cotangent. So by part A here, we are given sine and cosine, asked to find cosecant and cotangent. So Connor, what reciprocal would you use to find cosecant?
Cosecant, so wait, I'm lost, 1 second.
So
Oh, would it be 1
cosecant.
over the, 1 over, or sine?
Sine.
Sine.
Cosecant is
Okay.
1 over sine. Can you turn that off, please? I don't know why it's going right now. Thank you. So cosecant is 1 over sine. We know that sine is 0.28. So 1 divided by sine is 1 divided by 0.28. Plug that in, what do you get?
3.57.
Blood and proud Noah, 3.57.
3.57.
Great. And Nick, which one would you use for secant?
1 over x,
And which trig function is x?
cosine.
Cosine. So secant is 1 over cosine. And in this problem, we're told that cosine is 0.96. So 1 divided by 0.96, 1.042.
Is this way easier?
These ones were given cosecant and secant, and being asked to find sine, cosine, and tangent.
Oh, okay.
So Trey, sine of x is the reciprocal of which one? Cosecant. So sine is the reciprocal of cosecant. Cosecant is 5 over 3, so sine must be
Sine is 3 over 5.
3 over 5, reciprocals. So cosecant is 5 over 3, sine is 3 over 5. Same idea for cosine. Cosine is the reciprocal of which one? Secant. So if secant is 5 over 4,
4 over 5.
4 over 5.
And then,
Now what about tangent? Yep, loud and proud, you guys are right?
Sine divided by cosine.
Sine divided by cosine. So tangent of x is sine of x divided by cosine of x, and we just found both of those. So sine is 3/5 divided by cosine, which is 4/5. If you keep change flip to 5/4, 5's cancel, and you are left with 3/4. So sine is 3/5, cosine is 4/5, tangent is 3/4.